So as Jacob said, welcome to Eat Clean number 18. I've done a few practical lessons. The last few lessons we did 3 breakfasts on how to create a breakfast with minimal or no starchy carbs. And I always think it's important to balance theory with practical. So one really quick theory lesson today. And as I mentioned before, I'm actually taking a nutrition course from a company called Precision Nutrition. Very excellent course so far. And one of the things that we're allowed to do is share some of the resources that they get with our clients. So one of the best resources that I've found that I've used with a lot of my personal coaching clients is this little tool. It's called the 5 Habits Cheat Sheet, and it goes along really well with what we've been doing in those practical lessons. So it's important for me to note that while I am giving you some meal ideas on how to minimize starchy carbs, you don't always have to do that. And this cheat sheet on making your meals helps remind you what should be the composition of your meals, which I've touched on in other lessons, but this is just a really good review. So basically, and I'll make this available to anyone who goes on the performanceforsport.com, so www.performanceforsport.com. If you click on our blog, all of my lessons are there, and I'm going to make this cheat sheet available along with some other cheat sheets I'll talk about. So the questions that you want to ask yourself whenever you're making a meal. This number 1 says, are you eating slowly? So check in with yourself and just make sure that you relax, you take your time, if at all possible, 15 to 20 minutes. Enjoy each bite. So that's important. More onto the composition. So as you're making your food, very, very important, where is the protein dense food? So just make sure for a male, you're thinking about having 2 palm size, approximately 2 palm size servings of protein in every meal that you have, and for a woman about 1 palm size serving. These guidelines start as a starting point, because if you're a little bit more active or a little less active, you may have to juggle those a little bit, but at least it serves as a very good starting point. The next one, where are the veggies? Always want to make sure, whenever possible, you're incorporating veggies as a main component of that meal. Where are the carbs? So this is important. It says, and I have to agree with this, if you have weight to lose but you haven't just worked out, eat less pasta, bread, rice, and other starchy carbs. If you have just worked out, then a mix of those carb sources is fine. So again, what it's alluding to is if you have just worked out, go ahead, enjoy the starchy carbs, because you do need to refuel your muscles. However, if you have weight to lose and you have not just worked out, instead opt for maybe an extra size of an extra serving of veggies. Another thing that's really also important to note when we're talking about the idea of whether or not to include starchy carbs in your meal is this idea of whether or not you're trying to lose weight. Because of the overwhelming majority of people that we work with, one of their goals is to lose weight. That's where I cater a lot of these videos to. But the reality is, it's very important, if you're not trying to lose weight, you probably do want to include the healthy versions or the healthy choices of your starchy carbs at every meal in order to fuel that insulin response and to encourage muscle growth and to encourage that weight gain. So that's very important to notice. Just make sure when you are choosing which starchy carbs to add, whenever possible, choose the healthiest choices. And again, if you look at my cheat sheets, which I will post on www.performanceforsport.com, you'll see the best, the moderate, and the not so good starchy choices, and you can decide which components you would like to add into your meals. And number 5, where are your fats coming from? So make sure you have fats from various sources, healthy sources, nuts, olives, seeds, eggs, oils throughout the day. And what I'm going to do on the PI blog, not only am I going to make this cheat sheet available for you, which I encourage you to print out and put on your fridge, but I'm also going to repost the cheat sheets that I had made that give you a list of all your best protein sources, all your best starchy carb sources when you are going to include those into a meal. And I'm going to update my fat sources cheat sheet as well, because from this Precision Nutrition course, I've got some other great resources that I think that will make that cheat sheet even better. So please take a look at the PI blog for the cheat sheets. And So people do really well often with practical examples. So here's my little practical example and showing you how you use this cheat sheet. So this is my lunches that I made for this week. And if I take a look, and I'm starting with number 2 here because that talks about the actual components. Where's the protein dense food? So in here what I've added is some barbecue chicken and a little bit of New Zealand steak, antibiotic free. So I chop that up and that's about the size of my palm. Next on the list, where are the veggies? So in this case, I've done some roasted kabocha squash, and there's also some turnip and roasted onion in there. Where are the carbs? I asked myself, is this going to be a post-workout meal? Am I trying to lose weight? No, I'm not trying to lose weight, and yes, this is a post-workout meal. So even if I was trying to lose weight, post-workout meal, this is my post-workout meal. I'll be having this for lunch, and I usually do a workout beforehand. And so I've got some my starchy carbs in this case, in addition to the squash and onions, I've got some yam and sweet potato in here that I've roasted up. And by the way, if people are wondering what I put on it, where the fat's coming from, so I put a little bit of olive oil on here, so that there's my healthy fat. And for the spices, I put a mix of cumin and oregano, so I'll let you know how that turns out. So that's the perfect meal, and yes, I did follow everything on this cheat sheet, and that lets me know that I've made a great meal. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll share with you in future weeks some other meals that have minimal starches and some meals that have healthy starches. We'll talk to you soon.